This is Comics Covered for the week of April 11th, 2018, episode 22.
Doug ate a man.
I told you not to tell anyone about that.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't keep it in.
I can't keep it a secret. I can't hold this horrible, festering parasite of a secret inside of you anymore.
No, I can't. But also, do you know what man, do you remember what his name was?
Oh, what was his name?
It was John Mayer. Do you know why?
What?
You wanted...
I ate John Mayer?
You ate John Mayer because you wanted to become him so that you could get back together with Taylor Swift and sing about how we're feeling 22.
What the fuck are you talking about?
We're on episode 22.
Oh my god.
I was trying to circle it back.
I don't... Who gives... Okay, alright. Taylor Swift references apparently now.
T-Dog.
Here on Comics Covered, we talk about comic books and the world around them. The comics industry, comic movies, TV, games. We'll talk spoilers and we'll probably fucking swear. Damn it.
Jesus.
Shit. Piss.
Piss? People say that a lot. That's a bad word. Like, that should just be a word for urine.
Crap.
Crap?
Crap.
Sounds like you're trying to say crayon.
Crayon. Well, warn you about the spoilers, though. I'm Doug. I'm our resident comics veteran. For example, I know who the Human Torch is.
Okay. Doug, if we're going there, this is a really mean name to call Elton John. That's terrible of you.
It sort of works, the joke you made.
Oh.
A little bit of a stretch.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no, not anyways. I'm not even talking about... I'm just talking about your pun.
My pun works very well. It's not PC, but it's very good pun, I think.
Okay. Anyways.
Okay, I'm Jack. I am a new person in comics, a baby boy. And I also, my favorite thing to karaoke is the song Trouble by T-Dog. So just wanted to get that in there. Such a great song. Have you ever heard that song?
I don't know.
It's the, trouble. It's the one that they splice together like goats screaming sometimes on YouTube videos. You know that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, so the Human Torch. I'm assuming that this is just some other character?
Well, you should, you know who, I mean, we should probably preface by saying, I know you know who the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four
is. Yes, I do.
Yes. So.
Chris Evans.
Who is this?
So,
I will give you this much. It is not that character.
Okay, thank you. I assume because of copyright, this has to be Marvel still, right?
It is Marvel.
Okay. And this must be... So, okay, we're going to do a little 20 questions here, okay?
Okay, alright.
So, is this a separate universe of the same character?
No.
Okay. Was this character thought of before the popularity of the Human Torch and Fantastic Four?
Yes.
Is that why they're the same name?
I don't know if that's why, but he came
before, okay.
Yes.
And they just decided to use the same name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the reasoning for that, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is... Okay, here we go. End 20 questions. So this character was a Golden Age superhero who... Human Torch. Well, I mean, I would assume they have similar abilities, but it's just like a single hero in a specific city that's saving people. They were caught in a fire when their house was burning down as a child, and ever since then, they've somehow harnessed the ability to control flame. My guess is it's just some white guy with some random white name, who says "eat your vitamins" and is a golden age superhero like that. That's my guess. Let's hear it.
The original Human Torch was technically, because of the way in which Marvel kind of came together and absorbed different companies, the Human Torch is the first published Marvel superhero character.
Oh, wow.
So this character is a character named Jim Hammond.
Ah, who is, white guy?
And yes. Sort of.
Oh.
In that, ironically, the Human Torch is an android. So,
what?
He's not human at all.
What? Wait, why is he called the Human Torch then?
Because he's human-shaped, I guess.
That is ridiculous. You literally cannot... He's literally not human. That is insane.
So he is an android who bursts into flame when he comes into contact with oxygen, I believe is the situation. And
is he always wearing a suit or something?
No, he's just wearing he's an android. He's flameproof.
No. If he comes into contact with oxygen, what does that mean?
He bursts into flame. I don't know. How does the other Human Torch do it?
He's just able to control it because of radiation, whatever. I'll take that. If you are, every time you go in oxygen, it's just fire then. That's just what fire does. Fire is a reaction of oxygen and, I forgot what it was. Oxygen and what? What is fire?
Magic.
In any case, fire always needs oxygen to burn. So he's basically just fire.
Nah.
How does he ever not be flaming then? Not the pun intended, Doug. You're a disgusting person.
No, he learned to control the flame. He controlled the flame, and he
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about...
he controlled the flame, and he...
I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, he's a police officer in New York City, but then he's secretly the Human Torch, the not human torch.
Wait, but I'm really torn up about this oxygen thing. Can we talk about this more?
No, because it's comics and it doesn't make sense.
It's Golden Age,
that's the answer.
It's Golden Age?
Yes.
Okay.
There is no basis in science here.
So they had to give some sort of explanation
yeah. They gave a one-line explanation saying he bursts into flame when he comes into contact with oxygen.
Sounds like one of those weird, do they have a lot of those sort of caveats back then? Because I think, I remember Ambush Bug. I know that's a parody of a lot of things, but I feel like Ambush Bug, the idea that he can teleport anywhere there are bugs, I feel like that's a joke on one of these caveat sort of things. Like, he can turn into flame when there's oxygen, or he can do this.
I'm sure that is. But, those things are always it's a limiting factor. It's just so that they can create more interesting, dramatic situations.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the oxygen's been cut off or whatever,
In a vacuum, he can't use his power.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But, so he was, present during World War II. He came out in 1939. He fought in the war along with Namor and Captain America on a team called the Invaders.
The Invaders? That's not a good name for a superhero team. That's bad intentions inherently.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they went and they fought the Nazis and stuff. I'm looking at a panel here, and I don't know how valid this is because I'm not going to read the description, but I do see a panel, and it is him burning Hitler in the face, and it does say killing Hitler himself as the caption.
Wow.
So, throw out your history books. The Human Torch, the original, killed Hitler.
Oh my God. Doug, I just realized... This Human Torch has been depicted in movies.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was in Captain America: The First Avenger for like a hot second.
Oh yeah, was that a good pun for you?
Ha! I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, sure you didn't. No, I'm talking about. Okay, with that also that makes it even more interesting, Doug. See, Chris Evans, he's Captain America, but he's also the Human Torch. So I'm thinking that the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, went back in time.
Oh my god!
And he wanted to kill Hitler and get out of his reality because he was in a terrible reality of, you know, smoky galacti and, you know, really bad acting. So he traveled back in time to World War II and he wanted to kill Hitler. So he killed him in secret. And then, you know, Hydra started stepping in charge and they started becoming the, you know, main people behind it. But then he's thought, okay, I can't show my face ever again. I need to think of a different identity. So what he did was he, didn't eat for about, you know, months and months. He became small and skinny as a rail. And then he thought, wow, this is getting really bad.
Oh my god!
And then he thought, but I can't get strong again because my body.
Why did he get shorter?
And then he went into the superhero program, super soldier program, and he's Captain America now.
And we know and then he shrank about 3 or 4 feet.
And he lost his memory too, so he doesn't remember Human Torch.
Oh, I'm sure. Still didn't involve Jim Hammond, the Human Torch, but but he was in. Captain America: The First Avenger. They go to the World's Fair. In like the early on, and there's a tube, and the Human Torch, the original, is in it. He starts on fire.
Huh. Weird.
I think there's a sign that says like the Incredible Human Torch or something like that.
Interesting. Why don't they just call him Torch?
Because he's human, Jack.
No, shut up.
Are you denying robots' humanity?
Oh, you bastard. You know how much I hate... I don't hate it, it's just... It's hard to do well, that whole, like, oh, what does humanity mean sort of thing they always do in TV shows and any sort of media, actually. I remember we talked about this when we were watching Doctor Who one time. I am denying his humanity because he's literally not human. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings and shit. You know? I hate the word humanity as synonymous with like, oh, we should treat him. You know?
Well, that's just a linguistic problem you're having now then.
Maybe it is.
Really more than anything. Also, I had another point and I lost it just now as I started saying that sentence. I'll find it.
Here, I'll keep saying it how you said it so you remember it. Oh, and also.
Nope, lost it.
Okay, well, that's your problem.
Jack, how was your week?
It was good. We both saw the movie A Quiet Place. You just saw it. And, God, I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie is very fun.
For
anyone who doesn't know what that movie is, it is the first movie directed by John Krasinski, also with John Krasinski in the leading role. Mm-hmm. He's Jim from The Office.
Obviously. Mm-hmm. He's had a couple bad years.
And yeah, it's basically a horror movie in which you can't make sound or the monsters will get you.
How was your theater, by the way? My theater was surprisingly good. Like, that movie shut people up.
Yeah, my theater was really quiet. My parents were complaining. They went and saw it, and they were saying that, like, there were people talking in their theater.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, mine was dead silent. It was perfect.
I mean, it's great. If the movie was, like, a little bit worse, it would definitely not have been that quiet. But he builds tension so goddamn well. And, oh, gosh. And did you know going in that actress was actually deaf?
I did not.
Oh, it's so cool. You know, like, I love that.
I mean, it's the move to do. Like, like, you've got a deaf character in, like, a role that's, like, so very, like, gimmicky in that way, in that, like, the being deaf is kind of a plot point.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of need to get an actual deaf person so that it doesn't come off as like, I don't know. It's just a little weird making the being deaf a plot point if you don't get an actually deaf person to play the role.
No, it's like going blackface in a way. Well, it is
quite that extreme, but
not that extreme, but it's the same idea.
It's a a degree on that scale.
Or,
okay.
Johnny Depp as Lone Ranger. I never saw that movie. Did you?
Jesus, I always forget about that. No, I did not see that movie. God, Johnny Depp.
In any case, let's not spoil Quiet Place. It's great. People go to the theaters. It's wonderful. And apparently he has a new project that he's looking at, Life on Mars.
Oh, okay.
So, interesting. We'll see.
Cool.
And you saw Isle of Dogs yesterday. Or why am I talking about your week? Fuck you. Also, I've been watching a walkthrough of the Telltale Batman, and I think you should as well, because I think they do like a sort of Joker origin in a way, like,
yeah.
And it's really awesome and perfect. Like, it's not like we know like what his upbringing or anything was. We just meet a character that, is probably gonna, turn out to be the Joker. And then throughout, like, this entire season, different things have happened to where it kind of drives him to that sort of mentality. And it's very, very cool how they do it, I think. And it's definitely worth watching, at least. I haven't played it, but I just watched a playthrough. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a playthrough because I played like half of the first season of Telltale's Batman series, and I do want to go back and try to continue it at some point. I fell off of that game the same way I fell off of all of their games. I don't know. I don't know. I have issues with their games, but I do like what they were doing with the story in some ways. I did not like their Penguin.
Really?
Their Penguin is like, it's just like, it's why wouldn't you just call it a different character? It's like not even inspired by the Penguin, other than they gave him his name.
Really? Yeah.
Like there's literally nothing in common. Like it's not like they broke him down and like, what's an interesting twist we could put on the Penguin? It's just like, no, they just threw an entirely different anarchist rich character in and called him Oswald Cobblepot.
So he's got the Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor problem?
Kinda, yeah. Like, it's just like not even remotely similar.
But I did hear that apparently he's supposed to be depicting Lex Luthor that we know's son.
That's definitely the look they're going for, but I'm pretty sure they've gone out of their way, like, outside of the movie at this point to say, like, no, this is just Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay, never mind. In any case, I think it's great, and cool. Doug, tell us about C2E2.
Yeah, I went to C2E2 this last weekend. That is one of the comic conventions, kind of the big comic convention, or at least the more comics-focused comic convention in Chicago. It's a great time. I go pretty much every year, at least for the last few years, and it's a great time. I finally worked up the I'm very anxious about like going up to creators. I can't get myself to do it.
Really?
I've never walked up and said hi to a comics creator.
Huh?
I know, and they're not even as much of a celebrity as anybody from movies or TV or whatever.
Wrestling.
But like for some reason, like I can't do it. I get too anxious. So finally this year I went up and I said hi to Eric Powell, because I'm a big fan of the Goon, and I missed him the last couple of years at the con, and I got him to sign a copy of Chinatown, one of the kind of bigger, more like important Goon books. I got a hardcover of it, and he signed it, and he drew a little sketch of the Goon.
See, you should get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it was nice. I talked to him for a short second. But yeah, so that was really cool. I got a Moon Knight shirt.
Oh, that's fun.
Like a Warren Ellis Moon Knight shirt. So it's like
the
Declan Shalvey style. Oh, it's just the eyes. It's a white shirt. It's just the eyes and the moon on his forehead.
Okay.
It's cool. I like it.
So Doug, repeat after me. I appreciate your work.
I appreciate your work.
That's all you have to say as an icebreaker to meeting like people like that. It's so easy. And
okay. So one time I met So I said something to that effect to Eric Paul. I said, like, I'm a huge fan of your work.
Yeah.
The Goon, Hillbilly, it's all great. And I shook his hand and I walked away. Which, yes, like, that's what you should do. And then, but, like, I think part of the reason I had such an issue is, I went to a pre-screening in Chicago of Her, and Spike Jones was there. Her? Egg? The
nice way to plant. Sorry, go ahead.
The director of that movie, I'm talking about Her, the sci-fi movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. Anyway, the director Spike Jones was there, and you could walk up to him and say something at the end. And I walked up to him and I said, like, what did I say? I said something like, it was a powerful film. And he just looked at me just like a slug had fallen out of my mouth. Like, not like, he wasn't like rude. Like, he just like nodded and shook my hand. But like, it's just like, I felt like afterwards, like, I felt like I sounded so pretentious.
Yeah, a little bit. You sound like I feel like you're trying to sound like a critic, you know?
Yeah. I was just like some random, like, 22-year-old guy or whatever who just like was at one of his showings of his like Dude Falls in Love with a Robot movie. Dude Falls in Love with Siri.
Yeah.
Anyways,
waifu. Yeah. It's
also had a very uncomfortable interaction with Mike Birbiglia at a comedy club a couple years ago.
Oh, what was that?
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think I said no. He was just watching the show, and I was just like freaking out because I'm a fan of his comedy. And one of the people I was with went up and introduced themselves, and I just like stood there silently with them. And then finally they were like, "And this is my friend Doug." And I said, and I don't even remember what I said. I said something about being a big fan of his work, and he was just like, "I was just talking to this person, just having like a normal conversation, and now I've got this awkward fan like lurking on me."
Yeah,
it was weird.
You should take like, I don't know, but I mean, you're better now, I feel like. What year was that? Like, you've always been like a little bit socially anxious, but
that was maybe like not quite 5 years ago. It was a few years ago.
Okay, maybe that's not that long ago, but no, yeah. It basically is all about just, I appreciate your work. I got really good at it because my friend Brennan and I went to WrestleMania a couple years in a row, and you know, it was really fun. We snuck into the hotel where all the wrestlers were staying and got to get a drink at the bar. So all of these legendary wrestlers were in here, and it was crazy. Like, he's a huge fan, and he didn't even want to be there because, like, I was like pushing the idea. No, we got to tuck our way in. We're in suits. We can look like we're here, you know. So we get there, and you know, it's just, I just keep repeating the same words. Hey, I really appreciate your work. It's really great to see you here.
I really appreciate when you put your elbow in the other man's face. When you
that's part of it.
When you pretend to break the other man's back. I love that.
Hey, you know what? You know, Samantha, my girlfriend, had the same ideas about wrestling when we first started dating as she did about comic books. But
I'm not making fun of wrestling. I know. I just like the idea of telling them I'm a fan of your work.
Hey, but see, this is the thing. You don't realize how much thought.
I know. Okay. It's fine. Okay. Continue your story.
No, that's not it. Like, it's like, that's the easiest way to disarm people, to be like, hey, I'm really appreciative of this, not to go all good fanboy on it. I just go right back to those all the time. So I don't know. In the future, you don't have to be a little awkward ginger kid in the corner.
Well, that's rude. Anyways, I did remember what I was trying to say earlier before we get off of this extremely long intro that we're doing.
Sorry.
But very quickly, I did remember I was going to tell you that, so the Vision, also an android, his body is based off of the original Human Torch. His personality is based off of the brain patterns of Wonder Man, who you also are now familiar with from Avengers. So, yeah, so that's a little fun bit.
That's interesting. Did you think of that? Because I asked at the bottom about Vision and what his.
That's why I thought of the Human Torch, because I was trying to look up if you asked if if
Vision was made of metal and Magneto can control Vision. I saw a drawing that Walter did.
I was trying to look up an answer to that, and I could not find a definitive answer. I don't think they are made of metal, Vision or Human Torch. Let me look it up.
Because in the movies, he's vibranium, isn't he? Vision? Or is it like a synthetic material that's not metal?
It says he has vibranium in him, at least in the movies.
Okay.
I don't know if that's part of... I don't know.
Well, in the comics, Ultron makes Vision, correct?
Ultron makes Vision from the body of the original Human Torch and the brainwaves of Wonder Man. Yes.
Wait,
and
that's literally... Oh, I thought you were just giving like...
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. No. Well, yes, Ultron does make... Yeah. Yep. Sorry, what
Wait,
now?
that's literally like how he makes him, though?
I think he bases the body on the original Human
I thought you were just saying it like based on design from like a marketing standpoint.
No.
Crazy.
That's in the comics. That's how he makes him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's why there's all the weird stuff about, like, do you remember in Tom King's Vision comic that you read how that character named the Grim Reaper came back to? I feel like I explained this at the time, and it was very complicated and probably confusing to you because there was a lot all at once. But so that character, the Grim Reaper, is Wonder Man's brother.
Oh.
And I think, did he kill Wonder? I don't remember. Anyway, there's a weird familial relationship there between, like...
Oh, Grim Reaper and Vision, because he is Wonder Man.
Between Jim Hammond, the Human Torch, Wonder Man and his family, the Vision, Scarlet Witch. The Vision is kind of all about, like, weird family shit.
Yeah.
Which you probably intuited by that
oh,
book.
God,
Anyways.
Crazy.
Let's move on.
No, yeah,
Very
but this
crazy.
is fun. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, let's go. So you're a host and you go.
Cool. So, we're this episode, we're gonna do some news. We're gonna do some new books. We're gonna talk Legion, the second episode, and then we're gonna take some questions. So we'll get around to all of that. First off, let's do some...
We're not gonna take some questions. We have questions already. It's not like we have a phone and we're doing this live. We're taking questions.
You're live on the air.
Get on your
with
Twitter.
Comics Covered.
Great. Okay, in any case, go ahead.
That would be impressive if someone knew when we were recording and they called in live.
Oh, God.
So yeah, let's talk some news. So just a quick update on this isn't really like news necessarily, but like we haven't talked about the Disney Fox deal in a while, and I just want to do like a quick check in on it because I feel like it's come up multiple times where we've like been like yeah, whenever that Disney Fox thing happens, like that's still happening, right?
Yeah.
Like we've been like kind of like, is that official? Is that official sometime in the future? Is that still happening? We're not really like following it super closely, and we're never sure where it is at.
Yeah.
So the president of 21st Century Fox put out an update saying that they expect the deal to be finalized by summer of 2019.
Which could be just in time to get New Mutants out, because it's going to be August 2019. Just in time.
They're gonna,
It's gonna like release, and then like,
I wonder how that would work. I mean, does Fox, the whatever shell of a corporation they keep, get those? No, like would that go to Disney?
I have no
I don't
idea.
know. Very confusing. I mean, I don't think Disney would like put their stamp on it because that would confuse the shit out of people.
Yeah.
But, anyways. So, yeah, so that's still happening, and they expect it to be done by summer of next year. So,
cool.
There you go. Exciting news in TV world, TV land.
That's a real TV.
Warren Ellis. Oh. What now?
That's a real TV channel. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the joke.
Oh.
So Warren Ellis and Declan Shalvey's comic Injection was optioned for TV.
Have you read that?
It is great. I love it. It's still ongoing.
Oh.
I am reading it, yes.
Nice. Okay. What's kind of the premise?
So it's hard to pitch because in a lot of ways, like the first arc or two, like part of the, I don't know if I want to say appeal, but part of the deal with the comic is that you're kind of trying to figure out what's happening.
Okay.
Like, what is this world and why are these things happening? Because they kind of just throw you into it.
Huh.
But basically, it's about, there used to be a think tank put together by the British government that was tasked with kind of like plotting the future of humanity, and that went wrong somehow. So it was like a gathering of like the greatest minds in these different fields, and that went wrong somehow, and this is about after. And in the comic, you're kind of figuring out what exactly went wrong and kind of what these characters' deals are, and it's really good.
So it's a mystery at heart.
It's, yeah, like structurally kind of a mystery. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like, it's not like a whodunit.
Yeah.
But like, it is a mystery in that like the way in which it doles out information is like you're constantly getting new bits of information and trying to piece it together. At least in the beginning.
Pretty perfect for a TV series then.
Yeah. I think, and it's also like relatively episodic in that it works in fairly small arcs. It's kind of a weird sci-fi series, so it's like them dealing with weird kind of combinations of the supernatural and sci-fi.
Okay.
So, and that idea is kind of central to the kind of the premise.
That's cool. And I read that they have 3 trades out for that right now. So they're on like about 20 something.
Something like that.
They're on issue 20 something. You think?
That sounds about right. I don't have like an issue in front of me.
Okay.
But
cool.
Yeah. So they were optioned by a company called Universal Cable Productions. So it's not a specific network, but they've done, they're producing the upcoming Umbrella Academy show on Netflix. They also produced, that Happy show. Which was bad, but I don't know. Production company doesn't really say anything about what the show will be.
It's just who wants to put money behind it.
It's just they're just funding it. They bought the rights and they're funding it. But hopefully that goes through, because I think that's a really cool show, and I would like for more people to become aware of Warren Ellis's stuff, because he's one of my favorite comic creators.
Yeah, very cool.
Yep, cool. We got a set photo leak from the upcoming live actions Teen Titans. The internet kind of, well, the comics internet kind of, got real mad about this one. It's weird.
It looks like CW.
I don't understand it. So this is the live action Teen Titans series that is going to be coming to, I believe, DC's or Warner Brothers streaming service.
Yeah, I believe so.
Of some kind. I think that's where it's debuting. Anyways, I don't think it's coming to like network TV. But yeah, so the people got set photos of Beast Boy, Starfire, and I think this is Raven, and Robin's in this. They're all in kind of like cover-ups. I don't think they're like, or, well, I don't know. Maybe these are their
Wait, that's supposed to be Starfire?
Yes, with the pink hair. So the weird thing about this that people are upset about is that these characters are not like, they're just people with colored hair. At least Beast Boy and Starfire are. They're like, Beast Boy is just a dude with green hair, like green dyed hair.
Yeah.
And Starfire is just like a girl with pink hair. And it's odd.
It's really weird.
I don't know why you would do that.
The wigs just look terrible.
I don't even, like, it looks silly. Like, I feel like it looks sillier than if you made Beast Boy just green and Starfire orange.
It looks like Inhumans kind of like quality.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm skeptical of this show.
Dear God.
Ever since they put out those first, like, costume photos or whatever, it looks a little...
hokey.
A little hokey for me. But, I don't know. Who knows? I would have really liked for this show to be... I mean, I can't just write it off based on this, but, like, wait until I at least see a trailer, but, like, I don't think this bodes well for me. Like, not that they can't make changes, but it doesn't look like a good change to me, at least visually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oy. Okay, well, that's something. That's a thing.
Yeah. Yep. So, over in comics, we're just gonna, like, power through all these new stuff, because there's honestly not a lot of huge news this week. So, I just wanted to bring this up because we haven't been talking about this, but this has been kind of an ongoing bit for a while, in that, like, Stan Lee's life is just going sideways.
Well, not the new book.
What?
The new DC book. He's,
What are you talking about?
He's not becoming a teleporting, hero.
Oh, the joke was not clear.
Okay.
So, so the newest thing in Stan Lee's life is that, like, people are accusing his daughter of... But the weird thing about it is, like, okay, so his daughter is being accused of elder abuse.
Yeah.
But, like, then there's, like, a notarized declaration by Stan Lee saying that, like, some people had, like, tried to take advantage of his daughter to gain control over his assets, money, and property. And then in this new video, he, like, denounces that declaration and then, but, like, says he's friends with those people, but that these people are making up shit about his daughter. And then, like, he, in the last, like, year or so, like, maybe even last half year, like, was accused of sexual harassment, like, on his nurses, which they claimed was, like, an extortion scheme. And then he's, like, having horrible health problems.
He had pneumonia recently, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he, like, went to he was admitted to the hospital or whatever, but, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to, I wasn't covering this just because, like, I don't know, I want to get into, like, celebrity news necessarily.
Yeah.
And this is kind of bordering on that, but, like, his life's just not going great right now.
Yeah, it's not very good. I heard that the video that he released, the watermark in the corner is, like, for his assistant who's also being accused of, like, taking part in this abuse. Apparently it's, like, his assistant's, like, production, logo that was on the video where he's denying it.
It's all real weird and confusing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to I don't know if I want to, like, cover this ongoing or whatever. Like, this dude's life just seems to be going poorly, but, like,
yeah,
he's a big figure, and it's concerning that, like, this is the way his life is going right now.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
Yeah, I just hope people aren't, like, hopefully these sexual harassment allegations aren't true, but, like, if they aren't, like, I don't know, like, I just hope, like, people aren't, like, taking advantage of him. Like, he's very he's
95.
He's 95.
Dear.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Unless he's a horrible sexual harasser, in which case, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I feel you.
That's the one little gray area. But
have you seen the Key and Peele skit where Stan Lee comes back for a superhero pitch meeting?
No.
Oh, it's so funny. What? You should watch it.
Have to watch that. I like Key and Peele a lot.
I know. You said that in the last episode because you got them mixed up, you racist bastard.
Jesus. Okay. Other comics news. So they at C2E2 announced a new Catwoman series coming from Tom King's current run of Batman. He's been kind of alternating between a few different artists, and a lot of the more Catwoman-heavy stuff has been drawn by an artist named Joelle Jones.
Okay.
And she is going to be writing and drawing a new Catwoman series.
Did she draw the thing that's at the bottom of this thing where she's holding like a cover, an issue?
Let me see. Yes, she did.
I like this. It looks so cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, her stuff in Tom King's Batman has been really, really strong. She's really, really, really cool style, and it does some really good facial acting.
Yeah,
she's very good at that, and draws the hell out of Catwoman. So I think that's a very good fit.
I'm excited. That should be great. Yeah. And so is this going to be, I guess, something that you should be reading Tom King to get into?
I don't know. Maybe. It could go either way. If this wedding goes through, which it being kind of a huge thematic element on this cover for what I assume is the cover for the first issue, it seems to imply that it's going to be like a thing going forward. Then I feel like all you really need to know is that's the status quo. I feel like there's not a whole lot of plot points you'd need to understand or anything.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, you could probably jump into that. But also at some point you should read Tom King's Batman.
Oh yeah. I feel
just add it to the giant pile of things I recommend to you on a weekly basis.
Do you know what I have? It's so much. I have Kill or Be Killed to read. Samantha's reading the second volume as we speak. She's also reading Vision right now, too.
Oh, nice.
Crisis, I just read one issue of Crisis. I still need to read another issue of that. Black Science, I have to read. Saga, I have to read another volume. And I want to start reading Chew.
Oh, Chew's fun. I never really read much of it. I read the first volume or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I feel like I would have kept reading that if I was reading it monthly.
Oh, I feel you. We have the first two volumes, and Samantha read the first one, and now I have to read the first one.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped. Okay, cool. DC Comics.
Let's talk about our weekly comics. So this week we read a bunch of comics, Jack. Why don't you let the people know what we read?
Yes, there were so many. It was crazy. Also, I think in the past we've talked about how, we had more DC books than Marvel books, and you were talking about because Marvel does those relaunches every year or so, and it's hard to get back your Marvel books. Well, we're on the Marvel train this week at least. I don't know about you, but you had more DC, it looks like, than me. But I had only one DC book, and that was Eternity Girl number 2. That was the only one. Other than that, we both read Avengers 688, Captain America 700, Doctor Strange 388, Thanos 18, Domino number 1, and Exiles number 1, and then also Gideon Falls number 2, which is neither. But, damn, that's a lot of Marvel. I guess we're getting into the fresh start stuff, so, we're gonna... two of these are ending. Avengers is ending in 2 issues, I think. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And then I also read Detective Comics number 978, Flash number 44, and The Immortal Men number 1.
Flash is getting into Flash War soon, right?
Yes, and I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to keep reading.
Into Flash War?
I'm on the fence on that book every month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the first couple issues because I want to get an introduction to the Flash universe a little bit, too.
It starts out very strong. I just don't think it has continued to be very strong.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay.
So, Jack, what was your favorite cover this week?
My cover of the week was Avengers, because how can we not talk about this beautiful, beautiful cover? It's so good.
Yeah, Mark Brooks continuing to kill it on these No Surrender covers. It's just really good.
I don't even know what to say about it, but I love, the look of Wanda and Pietro, which is great. All the other Avengers, Vision climbing up into the scene, kind of as an idea of the old Avengers, getting, what happens.
Burp into the microphone one more time, I will murder you.
I'm sorry, it's because I'm lying down. That's the reason. But in any case, I don't know what to say about it thematically. It's just beautiful. Like, it's just really good.
Yeah, so this cover is like, it's almost like, I don't know if medieval is the right art period for this. I'm not like super great on it.
It's like Renaissance.
Like, sure, yeah. It's like a, like a
flowery.
It's got like a big border element. It's very, very flowy and flowery and, very posed, like it's Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and they're in a very like they're very posed, like an old painting. Very
also,
patterny.
I will say that this is a cover where it has a bunch of heroes on it, and I know every single one. Isn't that cool? This is like one of the first times this happened, because it's Iron Man. Is that War Machine on the other side? And then there's Vision. And then we got...
Is that War Machine?
It's got to be, right?
War Machine in this issue?
No.
I don't think War Machine
Iron Man isn't either.
Oh, yeah, good point. They're
just showing all of the original Avengers.
Oh, you're right.
Not War Machine, I guess.
Not original, but like, yes.
Old ones.
Yeah, this is like the first two teams of Avengers, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways.
But yeah, then we have Vision. Yes. Is that Nadia or
I assume that is that
Janet.
Wait. Yes, that's Janet. You got me very confused because you said the one from the movie and you said the new one from the comics.
I know. Okay. And then do we have Bruce and Hulk on the opposite sides on the top here?
Yes, that must be Bruce. I was trying to figure out who that was. Yeah, that's probably Bruce.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, so this is just a beautiful cover, and your wonderful, who is it, Woods? This is
Mark Brooks.
Mark Brooks. I see his little insignia. Mm-hmm. Do people like always sign their covers like on the front somewhere?
Usually, yeah. Or interior artists will sign like big splash pages as well, or like just panels that they that they're really proud of. I'm trying to see if I can find one in the issue I've got on top here that anyone's signed, but yeah, like if you ever got like a full page splash or a double page splash or something on interior art, the artist will often sign that as well, but not always.
Okay,
but yeah, they usually sign the cover.
Huh. Okay, good to know. And yeah, I'm glad we learned more. Sorry, one more thing. I'm glad we learned more about Citizen 5 in this issue, because I didn't know what that guy's whole deal was.
Are you talking about, Citizen...
Roberto da Costa?
Yeah. Which I'm still unsure if that's Citizen 5 or Citizen V.
It's gotta be 5, right?
Probably 5, but I always read it as V for some reason. I don't know.
Well, of course you read it as V, but V means 5.
Sure, unless it doesn't stand for the number 5.
Well, aren't we a bunch of hickory sticks? Doug, what was your cover of the week?
Hickory sticks. My favorite cover this week was Doctor Strange, number 388. These, just like Avengers, these covers from this current arc in Doctor Strange have come up before. I believe this is Mike Del Mundo. Is this Mike Del Mundo?
Mike of the World?
Yes, Mike of the World. Michael of the World. And it is Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, tied or chained to a roulette wheel, and it's spinning really fast, and there's cards and dice, but it's all like weird demonic cards and dice and chips flying out from it, and it's all these neon colors that we've been seeing in all these Doctor Strange covers, and it's just a really cool... I really like this like neon aesthetic that it's not Mike Del Mundo's normal like style, at least coloring wise, and he's usually just more straightforward like painterly look, and this is very much like neon, like everything's kind of under a black light almost. It's very, very cool looking and dynamic.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange's mouth is like, he's spinning so fast that his mouth is like stretching off of his face. It's very fun.
Can we talk about, just really quickly, also, maybe we'll talk about this later because you have something in here.
I've got another occasion to bring up Doctor Strange if we want to talk.
Okay. Should I say this for then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let's talk about our conversation picks for the week. My book that I picked, we each pick a book that we want to talk about every week. It's not necessarily the book we liked the most, but sometimes it is. But it's the book that we want to have, kind of a longer conversation about. And my book that I picked this week was Captain America, number 700. I was very torn on this one. I was not sure if I wanted to talk about this, or if I wanted to talk about the last issue of Donny Cates' Thanos, or the new series Exiles, but I settled on this one because I felt like I had the most to say about it. Thanos just continues to be, like, it's super good. I don't know what else to say other than, like, it's still super good.
It's a great end, to a great series, and I'm really excited to see more of Cosmic Ghost Rider when that starts.
Yeah. It's just, like, super solid, perfect end to that series. I don't really have anything to say about it. But yeah, definitely check that out. But Captain America number 700, this is the end of, I don't recall what the actual arc of this is called.
Man Out of Time, right?
It's either Man Out of Time or like Home of the Brave or something.
Home of the Brave, maybe.
I think that's it. Anyways, so it's this arc where Captain America for the last 2 issues, well, including this one, it's been 3, has been, well, I believe 4 issues ago he was frozen, and then for the last 3 issues he's been in a near future, basically, apocalypse in which the hyper-rich have taken control of America and they've turned everything else into a slum, and Captain America has kind of taken the charge of the rebellion, and
everyone's weird animal people.
yeah, because there was like crazy nuclear fallout that caused everyone to like mutate, and they're some very silly looking like animal human hybrids and stuff. It's going a little bit like kind of campy in terms of what the mutants look like, but
Cronenberg's
Cronenberg Rick and Cronenberg Morty.
Yes.
So this was the conclusion of that arc from Mark Waid and Chris Samnee. This is Chris Samnee's last work, not only on Captain America, but at Marvel. And I have a couple things. One, I just want to point out, and talk about, the character work for Steve Rogers in this was super good and interesting, and I really like some of the points they make about, him needing to fight until the end, not necessarily always being a strength.
Oh yeah, definitely not being the smartest way to go. They do it to a T with these, days later. They have a bunch of times in this book, going day 102, day 152, and showing the story of what's going on and how it's not really doing anything.
Yeah, the point that he makes that I'm a soldier and I know how to win a battle, but we're not necessarily winning the war.
Yeah.
He's not a major strategist in that kind of way. He's not that kind of leader. He knows how to lead a battalion, a group into a fight and win, but this is larger than that. It's a war. And he's not leading for that.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly.
And him having to kind of come to terms with that and realize that that's not a good thing, that's how he's leading, and that maybe he shouldn't be in charge. Those are some really compelling moments where there's some quiet conversation scenes where he's just I'm failing you. It's really great.
Would you say, because, I remember there's a specific interaction where he says hope is not a plan. And the guy says, that's the least Captain America thing I've ever heard.
Yep, I'm looking at that right now.
It's that whole conversation of him like coming to terms with it exactly like is like it's just out of character enough to be like, holy shit, this is a big deal, but not out of character enough to be like, you know,
it doesn't feel like him. It still feels like this is a realization I could see this Captain America coming to, you know?
Yes.
And yet it still is a big one, you know?
Oh, yeah.
At the same time, they do turn it around at the end, and he says, like, hope is not a... Did we say spoiler warning? Spoiler warning for this book. So he's disarming a bomb, and he's, you know, basically sacrificing himself to disarm this bomb. And he says, hope is not a plan, but you sure as hell can't win without it.
Yes.
So, like, it's about, like, that kind of, like, there's a specific time and a place for it. Like, for him, for, like, what he does and what, like, he brings to the table, and, like, him being the leader of a nation is not it. But this instance of him being a targeted thing where he can stop a single wrong action from occurring, that is something he can do. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
So are we also going to talk about the timeline issues that could happen now? No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't.
Because who is going to stop the bomb if he just killed himself and he's not going to the future? Stop the bomb that never went off, but now that it didn't go off, no. This is why you can't get into these discussions.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about it kind of very briefly in the issue of, like, we don't know the rules for time travel. Like, you know? Yeah. Like, just very briefly, they're just like, we don't even know what would happen if we did this. Like, how do you know this isn't an alternate timeline? You know, like, we're just, in the end, we're just gonna have to kind of roll with it. Like, they get back to the status quo of, like, so basically in the end, he goes back to the moment at which he was frozen before he was sent into the future. He basically stops these people from doing their evil plan, frees himself, and dies. But then him in the past is unfrozen, and assumedly just kind of goes on without any knowledge. He says at the end, like, I don't know how I got unfrozen. Like, yeah. So basically this whole arc for present day Steve Rogers didn't happen. Mm-hmm. You know?
Well, yeah, that's another thing, because I think it's so cool because, you know, we were talking about how it's weird that they went from episodic to serialized so fast. Yeah. But, you know, in this Captain America's mind now, he's just been doing his whole thing. You know, he's been whatever. None of that stuff happened, which I actually kind of really like, because I don't know if it feels cheap at all to other people, but, like, I think it's kind of cool that, you know, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah. I do like, I like the ending. I still feel like structurally this should have come later. I get the feeling, and I have no evidence to base this on other than Chris Samnee is leaving, but I'm guessing they did this now because Chris Samnee was leaving, and this was a story they wanted to tell.
Okay.
Like, they went into this book not realizing that he was going to be leaving so soon, and then they were like, and then he made the decision to leave, and then they were like, oh, but we really want to do this story. This is kind of like the thing we want to most do with this character, and so I guess we'll just do it now. Right. I don't think it, like, breaks the book. I think it could have potentially been, like, a really cool climax to this run, honestly. Yeah. And I think they kind of, like, used it up a little early. I still think it's great, but I think, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe they just had those first few one-off ones just to kind of, you know, make this a little more unexpected.
Yeah.
I could see that too. But I still think it really works. Also, I'm having a little bit of a thing. I can't decide how I feel about... I think it's just the phrasing.
Of what?
But it's this moral that this book continually has of this idea of, and maybe I don't have anything wrong with it. I can't figure out where I come down on it, but it's specifically this line that Captain America keeps repeating, and they kind of do some echoes of here in reverse from the villains. of the strong protect the weak, and that being Captain America's motto.
Okay.
It comes. I understand what it's supposed to mean, but I don't know that it necessarily. Who's the weak in this scenario?
Okay, well, who do you get the idea that's a weak?
That's the problem, is that, like, how wide of a swath, what does that mean? Does it mean disenfranchised people? Like, I feel like it would have been better phrased if it was, like, those with power should protect those without. It's not as snappy. There's probably a better way to phrase it, but, like, I feel like that's what they're trying to go for with this phrasing, and that's why I don't think it's necessarily a problem. But it's somehow the idea that, like, you know, like, this white savior is, like, he's the strong, and it's his job to protect the weak, you know? I don't know. I don't necessarily think, I know that's not what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like it does have some weird unintended, I don't know,
subtext to that. I can see that, what you're saying. I mean,
again,
like
I don't think that's
like
what
you said,
the series is trying to say.
Of course not. I'm
mulling over the idea in my head.
We've talked about how this book is supposed to be a very simple sort of, you know, cross section of Captain America and the basis of his character and everything like that. And it's just supposed to be like, you know, not a deconstruction of the superhero. It's supposed to be just, this is a good superhero story. I think they are just going for that, and the strong protects the weak thing is a very old-timey thing to say, because they weren't worried about those kinds of ideas, you know, those subtextual clues, because honestly, people weren't thinking about it in that way. But I can see how in this day and age that can be problematic for sure. I don't think they were trying to do it, but I mean, I can understand that coming across that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I understand what they're going for in that, yeah, it's a thing about those in power and it being the responsibility of those in power to protect those who are not in power. But
yeah,
I feel like...
But it's also, you can't say that because Captain America isn't really in power. You know, he has
power. Which is I think what their idea is here. That, like, or I guess those with power is what I should say. Yeah, and then he gets actual, like, political power in this story, which I think fits with that idea. Anyways, I still think this book is great. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to voice some small thoughts I was having about it.
1 second, I want to delve into that thought a little bit. So he is in political power at the beginning of this story, and it's not doing anything. He's in political power, has power, and is trying to help everybody else. And even though he might say strong protects the weak, it's not working at the beginning. Him being in power and him protecting the weak. It only works when he goes back and he just thinks about, well, I don't know how that works, but it wasn't working at first. So
I don't think it's necessarily always about, like, them being successful, but it's just the idea that it's your responsibility to try, you know?
Yeah, but he goes back on a responsibility.
What now?
He's trying in a different way, not through his political power, but through, you know...
Yeah. Well, he found the right way for him to protect the weak, you know? Like this story was about him trying to find the right way to protect his people, to protect...
Well, and also the way to do it is to abandon them, in his eyes.
Kind of, sort of. Well, I mean... Yeah, I mean, in his eyes, it's kind of what he's doing, but at the same time, he comes to the conclusion that, like, it's a Hail Mary, but, like, he's not doing, like, if it works, it would do more than he would ever be able to do in his current role as, like, their leader.
Well, don't you think it's also a decision from him, like, that, you know, he's not who they need. because he's not getting, doing everything that what he's doing is not what they need in this day and age. They need him to do this instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, in any case, but yeah, I think there's a lot to mull over with this, and that's what makes it particularly one of the best issues of this entire run, honestly.
Yeah, this is a great issue.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
And I don't know if you want to give a word. This thing at the back is just kind of like a nothing thing.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's they republished an unused, I think it's unused, Jack Kirby story, and Mark Waid wrote basically kind of Marvel style, like I explained to you. Like he took the art and he wrote in all the dialogue.
Yeah.
He wrote in all the words for the story. So.
And this Batroc guy, that was George St. Pierre in Winter Soldier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. He fights the Leaper in Winter Soldier. That's his character. His ability is he leaps.
I will say that these advertisements in like the style was really cool.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
That was the best part. If Bendis was coming in that sort of style, that'd be much better.
Marvel lately has, in their marketing stuff, in their books, has gotten real into like throwback ads. They've all felt kind of like and coming up in this thrilling installment of,
Well, Doug, they're still in the midst of their big legacy. Oh wait, I forgot they have another one. Oh no.
All new legacy now. Fresh legacy.
Okay, can I talk about my book now? You've been hawking everything.
Okay, fine, go ahead. Jesus.
My book is our 1DC book, which I don't think actually has any Bendis is coming.
Oh, I bet you're.
I don't think there is.
I'd be so upset if there isn't a Bendis is coming in here.
But there is a 2-page splash of all the Young Animal stuff. I think it's because Young Animal.
Maybe that's taking the place of it.
Probably. Also, by the way,
there's an ad for Action Comics 1000.
Oh yeah, that's really soon.
It's next week.
Oh shit, dog. Okay.
Shit.
In any case, have you noticed
Two
that
ads for Action Comics 1000?
By the way, have you noticed that like they don't talk about Doom Patrol ongoing series at all in these advertisements?
Nope. Nope, they don't.
It's supposed to come out the 25th of this month.
We'll see.
But, yeah, do you remember when I was telling you that I was worried?
Again, I don't think they know what's happening with that book. I think that's why it's conspicuously absent, and they haven't said if it's canceled or not.
Yeah.
I don't think they know what the hell's happening with that book.
So sad.
Yeah.
In any case, Eternity Girl, though, is my pick this week, which also has a great cover, but, the other ones were fun, too. But the thing I love about this is they are, so basically this entire time, Eternity Girl, I'll set up the book. Sorry, I never do that. Eternity Girl, she, has trouble. Basically, she has a lot of trouble fitting in sometimes. She has to make herself look like a normal human, and that takes a lot out of her. And, she deals with her mental illness as well. How she's become a monster because of this sort of experiment that's been done on her. And yeah, subtextually it's about, kind of, how do we feel? It's a lot about mental illness, honestly. I know I say a lot of it's about mental illness, but
specifically it's about depression, and
yes,
it's also kind of, I'm getting the feeling it's kind of about some like body dysmorphia kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like feeling like you're not in the body you're supposed to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But what I love about this issue specifically is within the issue they jump between her going out to a comedy show and with her, I think this is her therapist, correct?
No, this is her friend.
This is just her friend. Okay,
this is just her friend. I
think so. I just thought, I don't know.
I don't think her therapist would be going out on the town because I think that was a separate character in the last issue.
Okay, in any case, her friend takes her out to a comedy show, and she has to, look normal. Like, okay, normal people do going out in the town, so I should be able to do this. The comedy person's talking about, all that body stuff. The comedy person's making fun of the fact that the comedy person is, overweight and stuff. Doing the what's that? The Louis C.K. routine in a way. A little bit worse. But they also jump from that to telling this story about, they kind of go into her looking like her, weird self. I shouldn't say weird. Blue hair and scaly and stuff. And they have another story that they're telling with this other character, and it's all this, big cosmic problems going on, and talking about the spire going into the sky and stuff like that. And it's really all, it all makes sense at the end, because they're going between these two plot lines to comment each other, and because at the end, this is really hard to explain. At the end,
there's a possibly metaphorical subplot going on where she's trying to fix/destroy the universe. And at the end, it turns out that the two plots kind of merge in a weird way, in which it makes it seem like the other plot is a delusion.
It is. It definitely is.
At the same time, they also kind of imply that she's like projecting her consciousness out into the universe or whatever. So like,
where do they say that?
In the beginning.
Really? Is that like when the blonde lady first comes in?
Like she flies off. She calls herself, I'm a wave pattern, a function, and then she like flies off and like goes through her boss's phone. And
a signal?
Yeah, and then, I don't know. And then we just like cut to her later, like just being somewhere else. So I think there might be an implication but it might also not be happening. So I don't know.
I don't think this is happening. I think this is just a delusion, a way to get the subtext for what it means of her basically coming to this guy's door who experimented on her and attacks him. Like, it's an ass, like, because he's the only one that, knows more about this situation than anyone else, obviously. And it's, where is she going to project her anger for existing like this, for having to deal with all this stuff? It has to be projected on the big bad, who in the one storyline is this giant Galactus-looking dude named Astralos. But in reality, it's, it represents this guy who seemingly controls all this, everything. But
he was her employer when she was a superhero, and then they kept her around after she wasn't really useful anymore, but then she had an incident at work and he fired her and she blames him for that.
Yeah.
She also I think murdered a bunch of people on accident in that incident, or some people died. I don't but anyways.
But also, this is definitely delusion, because you see the last page where she has him in her grasp, and his face is literally on the space dude.
Mm-hmm.
You see that, right?
Yeah, I do see that.
So it's definitely a delusion.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Really? It's definitely.
Comic books have done weirder things.
Okay.
I that's definitely the implication at the moment.
And she definitely murders that dude, straight up.
She does definitely kill that man and crush his house.
Yes. But yeah, and then I love at the end, it says next stuff gets weird. As if.
Yeah. It's gonna get extra weird.
But I love, this is so cool. And the colors that they use for the other, the Astralos guy when they're drawing him is different, but it's the same colorist. And it's just, this issue shows, the art is it shows so much versatility, and it's so cool. Yep. I love that. Because they show
Sunny Lou is very, very cool.
They show the dull and mundane of her, on a toilet calling her employer, but also her in space defeating this dude. You know what I mean? It's just... Oh, God.
Yeah, there's some great range in this book in terms of content, and it's... Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Definitely curious to see where it goes from here.
Big fan. I'm excited to see how stuff gets weird. Okay. Cool.
All right. Well, let's talk about our panel or sequence of the week. We're opening up the panel of the week segment this week just because I feel like lately, I've also been, like, Jack wanted to do kind of a page layout this week, and I've been thinking, what?
I refuse to follow the formula.
I've also keep seeing stuff in books where I'm like, I want to do that, but it's not a panel, so I think we're just gonna, I don't know, we might come up with a snappier name for it, but right now it's panel or sequence of the week. So it's
how
basically
strong protest of the week?
What?
You said snappier, and you said snappy earlier about that. So
the week. So my favorite panel of the week was in Doctor Strange number 388 again. We're bringing that one up, and it's so there's a moment where in Doctor Strange's head, he's been trapped in this kind of like mind space. He's in an illusion in his head, and the ghost basset hound's bats goes into his head to convince him that he is in an illusion, and Doctor Strange says, like, what? Why would you say something like that? And then he gets struck with a large arrow, a large flaming arrow. And then there's just this is the panel, there's just a panel of the two of them, and they're just standing there. It's Doctor Strange, and he's got this large flaming arrow just in his chest, and he's just, like, looking at it with his hands out, and Bats is looking at him. And it's just very funny. This just, like, silent moment. Donny Cates does, like a visual gags like that really well. Like awkward humor like that very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like just pointing out the absurdity of things. And it's really great. Nico Henrikon draws it very well as well, and I just think it's very funny. The next panel also very funny, where he just says, "Oh, I see, shit," or whatever he says because it's censored. But I just really like that.
Do you find yourself normally like applying a specific swear word to those?
I just in my head just insert whatever makes the most sense conversationally. Like I feel like he probably said shit, right?
Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, I agree. Like it's so cool. So this art you enjoy, yes?
It's I really like Nico Henrikon.
It's the other guy in the actual Damnation book, which we get next 2 weeks from now.
No, he's just been doing the Damnation tie-ins. He's done all of the Damnation tie-ins in Doctor Strange. He hasn't done any of the Damnation books.
Isn't this a Damnation tie-in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's done all of those. He's done all of the Doctor Strange tie-ins to Damnation.
Oh.
He has not done any of the Damnation issues.
But the Damnation issues are the ones you don't like the art in.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay, cool.
Yes.
But in any case, yes, I love this moment. I have noticed that Donny Cates, like, there's just something about the pacing of it that makes so much sense. And it's always in these books. Like, there's such a good sense of pacing that you can't do this kind of stuff without knowing how the reader is going to look at something, you know?
I just realized, I picked my panel before we decided to open up to sequence, but the next page has probably the best sequence of this book, where where he's like, I'm having a rough year. I've had an extraordinarily terrible year, and Pats is like, oh, yeah, sure. My owner and best friend of 16 years had a heart attack and left me alone at a shelter. I was adopted 2 more times, abandoned at a magical vet's clinic, turned into a spy, then I died. I got brought back as a ghost by an actual god. Now I'm gonna, like, he just goes on and on and on, just being like, you fucking whiny bitch.
But yeah, my bad. You had a tough year, right? Go on.
And his face in that panel is so good. It's the best, like, sad dog face. Not even sad, just like tired and like just tired dog,
grumpy old dog.
Yeah, it's great. There's some great dog drawings in this book.
Well, because also when he goes to pet him and those eyes like looking, it's so cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
Such a good boy.
I've said it before. I really hope Bat sticks around after. I feel like he's gonna go away. Donny Cates is gonna write him out somehow at the end of his Doctor Strange stuff. No. I just really hope he doesn't, because I want more Bats.
Doctor Strange is in the Avengers, right?
Yes.
We want Bats in the Avengers.
Bats as an Avenger.
Yeah.
The first dog Avenger.
Would it be?
I have no idea.
All right. In any case, I wanted to talk about one other thing. I know that this is going along, but at the end of this book, did you notice it be looking like blurry?
I did notice that on some panels.
Like when it's like right when the whole Avengers team comes to quote unquote help. I don't know if it's a choice. I kind of hope it is, but I don't think it is.
I would imagine the panel was just drawn smaller than that and then blown up.
That's annoying.
It is that page specifically. It's that last few pages.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm thinking.
All the way through the end.
Delusion or something.
They look like they've been like scanned poorly or something. The page before is crystal clear, and then once all the Avengers show up, it just gets blurry.
I
wasn't sure if that was a printing error in my issue or if it sounds like it was in all of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? It can't still be a delusion. They have to start letting him win at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to break out in the next issue or whatever.
Okay. In any case, also, is this Dormammu? That's the guy from the movie?
Yes.
That's what he looks like in this?
Mm-hmm. That is Dormammu.
Very cute. Very fun. Okay, cool. Do I get to do my sequence then?
Yeah, what was your sequence of the week?
So my sequence is,
we had a very lengthy conversation in which I would not allow Jack to call this his panel of the week.
My panel of the week...
It's not a panel.
...is, like, it's about halfway through Gideon Falls, number 2. Maybe a little less than halfway. But, our guy who's wearing... Okay, just a quick setup of this book, since I don't think we talked about it last week. Or last issue.
I don't know that we did, because you didn't read the first issue when it came out. So I think I pitched it to you, but I didn't like talk in detail.
Yeah, I'm just going to set up this one character. This one character has been finding bits of debris all over the place. Nails, pieces of wood, and he's been cataloging them. And he's had a vision where he says they all add up to this thing called the Black Barn. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, this guy's obviously getting help as well. He's been in a mental hospital. We see him going to his therapist's office, like, thinking, should I tell her about this? Should I not tell her about this? So, he just told her all about this, why he's finding garbage and cataloging them. He showed her a picture of, quote unquote, the Black Barn. Mm-hmm. So, he comes back to his building, sees a man gets out of the elevator, he goes up, and, then there's a sequence of him walking from the elevator down his hallway to his apartment door, which he now sees is unlocked. Mm-hmm. And specifically for this page, it gets flipped so that it's...
Mm-hmm. You have to turn the book sideways to read it, because it's a wide layout page.
Yeah, he looks like basically starts to look like he's walking down the page from the elevator, which is situated at the top of the page, to his apartment door, which is situated at the bottom of the page. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there a way to post this on Twitter without, are you able to do this so they can see it or whatever later?
Yeah, I can post this on Twitter. I usually post our panels of the week. The last couple of weeks I've done that.
Okay, because this is so cool. And I think one of the best things that even this entire series has done is placing panels so that it looks like what the character sees and when. Mm-hmm. Like here, he's walking down the hallway, but they also have little pictures of he sees his door open. Mm-hmm. He sees the lock undone. He sees the padlock broken. And they're just little panels in random places. Mm-hmm. And then when you turn the page, I know this is terrible, but this has to do with the sequence. There's a full 2-page thing of his apartment in ruins. All this stuff he's cataloged, all this garbage is gone after he told the first person that he's ever told about it, the Black Barn. All of this shit is gone. All of his work that he's been putting into is empty. And they have this big splash, this round circle of a big empty, space, which was his apartment and all this stuff. And then they have 5 smaller, panels of specifics in the room that he sees. He sees empty jars, another empty jar that's specifically labeled. He looks at his, thing where he's hanging tweezers, and they have specifically a circle around one of them that's missing, which is his focus, obviously. And it's so cool how they play with where your eyes are tracking on this page. And I love that. I think it's the coolest thing.
This sequence in particular is super reminiscent of Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino did a run on Green Arrow a while back.
That was the one that they kept changing the artists on that you didn't.
No, this was before that.
Okay, never mind.
This was one of the later New 52 runs. This was before Rebirth, which is the series that I had issues with the constantly changing art. But so it was Green Arrow, and it was drawn similar to this. It wasn't as sketchy, but it was, this kind of style. And like, he's a marksman. And so the whole book was like lots of, like, it was all sorts of little highlighted small panels where it was like him like hitting like a thing with an arrow, or like from like really far away or whatever, like lots of stuff like that, or him like noticing a thing really far in the distance, or like highlighting a punch or something. It was really cool. And I'm glad that they're kind of playing with that kind of technique a bit more in this book. It works really well. It really helps to sell the tension here. It's really cool. Yeah.
So that's my panel of the week.
Fuck you.
All right, before we end spoilers, can I just talk about one other thing in Eternity Girl that I forgot to mention? And I think it's I think it's a sort of veiled criticism or something, or just thing about Rebirth and the difference, like different reboots of the universe and stuff like that. Because so in the cosmic story, they explain what this spire going into the sky is, and it says, a stake in the heart of every living thing. It's the axis around which the endless cycle of birth, death, rebirth, and suffering turns. And we're going to destroy it. And they talk about how, like, versions of her are going to die, and all this stuff, and they want it to continue forever. Endless iterations of you burning forever in twirling fire the size of 1,000 galaxies that reignites every time it dies. We're going to stop the machine and burn out the engines. Everyone will die. Is this, I don't know, is this some sort of weird, like, thing about DC's and comics in general recreating themselves?
Oh, it definitely is.
Okay.
That's 100% what it is.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to get these, that's like a specific subtextual thing about the business of comics that I'm new to, so,
Yeah, this is definitely, like, since that last issue, all the way through that last issue. And in the like, backup stories about this character that were in the
Milk Wars.
Yeah. Story. It's been about like how being constantly rebooted would fuck a person up.
Oh yeah.
Cause like all the backups in those other books were all the various incarnations of her every time she's rebooted. And at the end of Milk Wars in the backup, she was like, you know what? No, fuck this. I'm done. And then this series has just been about kind of her as a character, like being unwell and unhappy with her life and lashing out.
Yeah, because also they say periodically the universe resets and starts again, each time a bit differently. It's cruel. Masters tweak it a little, just a little. It's great. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
In any case.
Yeah.
Cool. And would you say that this is a version of, like, this cover is a version of the Multiversity kind of thing?
Let me look at it. I don't know that it's specifically referencing that, but it's this idea of the wheel or whatever. It looks very like almost, I don't know if it's supposed to be.
I'm talking about the map thing.
Not Egyptian, but like it's like almost more like Greek, maybe?
Yeah.
Greek pottery. I don't know that it's supposed to be referencing. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
In terms of the multiversity thing. I don't know that this is supposed to be intentionally. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it is.
Okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I could see it.
In any case.
Cool.
Well,
so,
spoilers.
and then, end of spoilers. So I just wanted to real quick, we don't have a section for this, but there were a bunch of new books this week, and I just wanted to real quick, one-word answers. We didn't talk about these books, but I want to ask, one, did we like any of these 3 books? I'm the one who read one of them, but did we like any of these books, or each of these books? And then 2, are we going to keep reading them? Mm-hmm. So, Exiles, did you like it? Okay. 1-word answers, any word. It can be yes, no, or anything else.
Yes.
Great. That's my answer. It's great.
It's great. I mean, it's okay. Just really quickly.
Well, I guess the question is, what did you think of it? Although yes and no then don't work.
Yeah, 1-word answer. What did I think of it? Okay.
No, one.
In any case.
Anyway.
I liked Exiles. I wanted to ask.
This is more than 1 word.
Shut up. How do you treat first issues? Do you treat it like a pilot of a TV show, or are you more harsh on it than a pilot of a TV show?
I'm usually less. It depends. Honestly, it depends on how heavy my
interest,
my pull is at the time. Okay. Yes, but also I don't know. There's a number of factors. A large one is how many books am I currently reading?
Okay.
Do I have 3 books at once is pretty difficult. I'm probably not going to read all 3 of these. Continue to read all 3 of these, but if I'm not reading a whole lot of books, I'm going to be a lot less harsh on the first issue of the book.
Okay.
But theoretically, yes, it's like a pilot of a TV show, I might I'll usually give a series a second issue if I don't dislike it, but I don't know. Are you going to keep reading it? Exiles.
Yes, at least for 1 more.
Yes, I'm going to keep reading. Let's just stick to yes and no. Did you enjoy Domino?
And I'm going to use inflection on this one too. Yes.
No, I did not enjoy Domino.
It was just it's fun, but it's just I don't care yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little too light for me.
This wasn't the way to start it. I just
no.
Hook me into the character. Why do I care about this character first? They give me nothing at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all right. This is okay. And then I'm the only one who read. Oh, are you going to keep reading it?
I want to, but
1 word.
Yes.
You're going to read another issue? I am not.
Okay.
I am not going to read another issue. I have too many books.
Probably shouldn't.
Immortal Men. I'm the only one who read Immortal Men. I did like Immortal Men. Yes. As a flat.
Do you recommend it
yes.
for me?
I wouldn't go out of your way.
Okay.
I think I can't really say if it was great or not great until the next issue because it's kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of this one suffers from the same issue that a lot of for modern first issues suffer from, in that the opening story is a bit more expansive than a single issue can hold.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, yes, I liked it, and yes, I'm going to give it at least 1 more issue. So
cool.
All right. So next week,
the big week.
Jack, you want to read off what we're gonna be reading next week?
Oh yeah, it should be it's another great week. I'm excited. Action Comics number 1000 should be fun. Brian Michael Bendis writing his first Superman story,
along with a lot of other A-list talent.
A lot of
Tom King is doing a story which they released online for free, and I have been avoiding like the plague. I want to read it in the book.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it. I'm going to read it in the book.
Yeah, is this going to be $8?
It's going to be $8. Oh, yeah, it's $8.
Like the Captain America
It's a giant book.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of really good talent in it.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if many of them are not great. But anyways.
Okay.
Are you caught up on Black Hammer yet?
Well, one second. We're also going to read Avengers 689, which is the second to last issue of it. So it's going to be great.
Of No Surrender.
No Surrender. And then I am literally going to read... I'm on the last issue of Black Hammer Volume 1.
Okay.
Then I have Black Hammer Volume 2, so I'm going to read that today.
Okay.
And then I also have picked up Dr. Star 1 and 2.
Okay. You won't need to read those in order to read.
I want to read it. I want it on my pull. So.
Okay. No, I just mean like if you want to pick up Black Hammer Age of Doom #1, which comes out next week.
Yeah.
You don't need to like wait until you've read Dr. Star.
I just figured I have it, so I want to read it, you know?
Yeah. Or like Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil, which is also great.
I might. Well, do you think I should read that though? Is that really good? Is it good enough to warrant me getting it?
I wouldn't say it's like necessary reading, but it's good. Like if you want more Black Hammer stuff, it's very solid.
Okay.
Cave Carson has a cybernetic. Whoa, Interstellar Eye.
3 letters longer.
Changed it.
But wait,
yes.
The short answer is yes. I'm gonna finish this shit today, and Black Hammer is so great, and I love it.
Oh, it's so good. It's the best.
They build that mystery so well in the beginning, and it's like you don't know a lot, but it's like you know just enough. It's oh god, I love it. In any case, yes. Oh, where I'm at right now is they just they just had dinner with the what is it? Abe's. Abe, they had dinner with Abe's squeeze.
With the Reverend?
No, with Abe likes a lady in town, and it's the sheriff's wife.
Oh, Abe. God, okay, I forgot who Abe was for a second. Black Hammer has not come out in a while.
Oh, okay. Abraham Slam.
Abraham Slam, yes.
He has
the waitress lady.
Yeah. True Heart. Sheriff
Tammy Trueheart.
Yeah, Tammy Trueheart. Oh, it's great. It's great. In any case, yeah. Cave Carson as an Interstellar Eye #2 is also out next week, which I'm excited for. I think that'll be another good indication of where the series is going to go, because the last one was kind of like, okay. It was good, but it was like, okay.
Yeah, that's when this issue is going to determine if I drop that book or not.
Yes. And then we have Justice League 43, which is the last Justice League.
Before the relaunch with Scott Snyder.
No Justice.
Which I just wanted to point out, before No Justice as well. But I just wanted to point out, a few weeks ago, we talked about the announced art team on Scott Snyder's Justice League, and I said it was Jorge Jimenez, I believe.
Yeah.
But I misunderstood the original press release to mean that Jim Chung, the current artist, or one of the artists from Marvel 2-in-1, was doing covers. No, he's the other artist.
Oh.
So he is also on that series, which is great. I think that's a solid art team.
Okay.
If it's going to be bi-weekly, so they kind of need multiple artists.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is an unfortunate fact, but yeah. So I think that's I don't know how well those two go together. We'll see. But they're both very solid artists. Anyway.
I'm excited. And then we also have Mr. Miracle #8, which...
God.
I'm so happy it's coming out bi-weekly again. It's so great.
You mean it's coming out...
Twice monthly. Fuck you.
Mr. Miracle?
Yeah.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
Didn't the last one come out like 2 weeks ago?
No, that came out last month. It might have come out 2 weeks ago, but I don't think it's coming out every other week or twice monthly.
Maybe not. Okay, never mind. In any case, I'm really pumped. Samantha, she caught up and she's now reading this, she just read #7 this week.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
So good.
It's so good. God.
Anyway.
I really want to read it all the way through, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it reads very well all at once, but also I kind of really like it as a monthly book as well, because it's they are written in issue installments, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a continuing, they're not just picking up where the last issue left.
And they have those next time our hero.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, they are written to have that weight.
Yeah.
All right, it's great.
In any case,
all right,
we can just do a short word on this.
Yeah, so we're going a little bit long, but we want to talk about the second episode of Legion a little bit,
just a little bit,
just a little bit. Some big things happened this week.
Yeah.
David got in kind of contact with
Future Sid.
Well, yeah, he got in contact with Future Sid, and so we kind of did get implication that was actually her, I think.
Well,
like, maybe? I don't know.
Who knows?
I think that was the implication in this, that, like, when he projected his mind into the future and he talked to her and she like gave him a reason she didn't explain the whole thing, but like she like confirmed that she gave him the order, unless this is more delusion.
Well, she had black goo on her fingertips this time.
She did?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so, and then he also got in contact with the Shadow King, Amal Farouk.
Oh yeah, we got our first glimpse of this character, this actor.
Yeah, they had like a pretty fun, like, they continue to be very inventive with what the like mind battles look like in this show, and they had a fun one where they were like, they started off, they were like wrestling, like high school wrestling, and then and then it turned into a bunch of other things. But,
well, because he pulls out just a weapon because he's like, or he's a samurai.
He turns into a samurai, and then he's like, we can do whatever we want, dude, you know? Like, and then David turns into a tank, and then I think they both just turn back into wrestlers. But it's great.
I love this show. Oh god, it's just
so great.
And then we are laying more into the fact that Aubrey Plaza's like character, I guess, is just being taken advantage of.
Yeah, like she's playing herself. Like, not herself.
Lenny.
But, you know, she's playing Lenny now, as opposed to Lenny's body and mind being hijacked by the Shadow King. So we're actually getting, like, Lenny as an actual character outside of the flashbacks earlier in the show.
Yeah. Which I think is great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a really great way of keeping her in there, as well as Jermaine Clement.
Yeah, Jermaine Clement. I love that he's still in there. It's great.
Oh, it's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know what else to say, but it's just, people that ever just watch the show, just do it.
We got some reveals about the Admiral Fukuyama.
Wait, what reveals?
He can see what everyone's doing in his basket.
Oh, yeah.
He has like weird screens or whatever in his basket. He's just watching everyone.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
And we know the mustache ladies are androids now.
Yeah, that they're not theoretically human.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was there any other reveals?
Well, they're starting to become a little bit suspicious of David.
Oh, they definitely are. They're very suspicious of him.
Yeah. So that's too bad. But
he told Sid about it, and she's like, all right, well, if I told you that, I'm going to help. So she's on board with trying to help the Shadow King find his body, which is not going to end well.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, gosh. It's just...
Anyway.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Keep that somewhat brief. If we have more time on future episodes, we will try to talk a little bit more in detail, because we love that show.
Yeah.
We've got some listener questions we had sent in this week. If you want to get your question featured on the show, email us at comicscovered@gmail.com, or send us a message on Facebook or Twitter. Be sure to include your name and where you're from. Unlike this first man, or boy, or whoever, Jim from somewhere, I don't know. Jim sent in this question. He asked, I think he just wants like kind of an explanation of what exactly this is. So he asked, will Marvel's Fresh Start be a new beginning for the Marvel Universe, including Origins? Or is this Marvel's way of giving new readers a jumping on point? So let's just kind of talk out what exactly Fresh Start is. Do you think you can explain exactly what Fresh Start is?
Well, yeah. I mean, Fresh Start is basically just, they do a reboot every year, seemingly. This one's 6 months after Legacy. And Fresh Start is just the next one. And it definitely is a way so that people after Infinity War can have easy ways to jump on to characters that they might have seen, or different characters that, they're interested in. It's definitely a way to give them a jumping on point. That's probably why they're obsessed with reboots in general, so that they can keep having new readers come on. But then they're not servicing the people that want long continuity. I guess they have Amazing Spider-Man, but Yeah, it definitely.
Which is ending.
What?
With this, which is ending with this relaunch.
Yeah.
And restarting. So yeah, it's definitely not new origins, at least for the most part. I think they are actually giving Captain Marvel a new origin.
Oh, really?
Which is like the one exception. They're doing like I think an OGN, an original graphic novel, that is about her backstory. I don't know how different it will be.
Do you know who it's written by? I would love to read something like that.
They did bill it as like the new origin of her. I'm guessing it'll just be slightly tweaked or just a retelling. But I'm trying to remember what it's called.
I haven't read any Captain Marvel things. I feel like I should.
Captain Marvel origin. Let me just see what'll come up when I Google that.
Is that how slow you type?
I'm typing with one hand.
Why? Because where's the other hand, Doug?
You don't want to know. No. I cannot. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know who's writing it, but they are doing a Captain Marvel OGN that I think is at least going to be rejiggering her origin a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, it's just a jumping on point. There's a new Avengers lineup and creative team. It's new creative teams on all these books, new number ones. There's, for the first time in a long time, a new jumping on point for Amazing Spider-Man, like we said, as well as a lot, like most of the other books at Marvel are getting new number ones and creative teams. So that's both exciting and frustrating, depending on your point of view.
Yeah, no, definitely. Can we also talk about, because, wait, what was I going to say? Oh, no, never mind. I was going to talk about Jim. I was telling you earlier that Jim reminds me of Sam and I's friend who we live with.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very endowed man.
Hopefully this gentleman is as well. I wish you the best of luck, Jim from nowhere.
From nowhere.
This question comes in from Antonio.
Antonio.
That's a great name.
Tony.
Antonio.
It is.
I'm like, no, he said Antonio. Don't put that on him.
Yeah, but Antonio is literally like a translated name of Tony. Which, honestly, how do translated names work? Seriously.
They don't.
It's ridiculous, right?
They don't, and it's ridiculous.
Miguel and Michael, like, Juan.
I get how names get, like, changed between cultures.
No,
but if you go to another country and your name is Miguel, your name is still Miguel.
Yes, exactly.
Whenever people try to make that weird thing of, like you go to Spanish class in middle school or high school or whatever, and you're like, my name is Michael. And they're like, well, now you're Miguel. It's like,
no.
Well, no.
What did they do with your name? Were you Doug? Oh,
No, I just picked... I picked the most ridiculous names. I was like Rodolfo.
Oh, nice.
Edmundo. Yeah, there's not a Spanish language version of Doug. This question from Antonio is, if you could get your favorite comic book writer from DC or Marvel, although I guess we could maybe open it up to just any comic book writer. Let's just say any comic book writer. Write one series about any hero, villain, or team that they haven't touched yet. Which would it be? Do you have anything that springs to mind from your
limited knowledge
experience? Like any writers you've read so far that like you'd be curious to see them write a particular character.
Honestly, I would love Tom King to write a Robot Man series.
Huh. Interesting. That is out of left field.
He could delve into his mentality so well. His detachment.
I think Tom King has proved that like he's at his best when he's writing about weird side characters. So like I think that could potentially be a cool fit.
Yeah. That's my answer.
Tom King writing a Robot Man, like a solo Robot Man series?
Yes, just Robot Man.
I assume the other characters would kind of come like Tom King, of course, would deal with like his history and his side characters and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You'd think? Yeah. Like they would be kind of supporting characters.
Yeah.
What if Tom King wrote a Rebus series?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
It's about Negative Man from...
I just think that Tom King, because of all the work that he's been doing on Mr. Miracle, like that detachment sort of way, he could easily apply those sort of ideas in a little bit different of a way with Robot Man's detachment from humanity. And I think that'd be perfect for him.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I would like to see Rick Remender, who you...
Black Science,
read.
X-Force, right?
Yep. As well as plenty of other great stuff. I'm a huge fan of his work, and he has kind of seemingly sworn off superhero books, but I don't know if he's ever written anything at DC, but I would just like to see him write anything over at DC. I would be fascinated to see how that would...
Give a specific...
How his style... the obvious one is Batman. I think he could do a really good Batman book. I would also be fascinated to see I think the kind of bombast he does could apply really interestingly to Superman as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like some more interesting.
I'll give you one.
But sure.
Flash.
What? Oh, hell yeah!
Flash, he could do so well because of that fast-paced style he has.
Dude, Rick Remender and Matteo Scalera on a Flash book is... Jesus Christ, my brain just broke.
Right?
Holy shit. That needs to happen. Like, someone needs to pay Rick Remender a shit ton of money to come work at DC because a Rick Remender and Matteo Scalera's Flash book, or at least just a... Oh, God, I'd take either of them without the other, but, like, both of them together would be really, really good. God.
Yeah. That's the one I immediately thought of because of that style that he has.
His breakneck kind of like fast-paced style of writing, plus like all his stuff, his obsession with like multiple realities and like all that kind of stuff, like that shit could work really well in a Flash book. Good call.
Thank you. I know your dreams better than you.
Are you Amal Farouk?
Oh, God.
Oh, no. All right. Do you have anything else, or should we wrap up?
I want you to give small random answers to these small random questions.
Okay, these are going to be the briefest of answers.
Okay, briefest of answers, okay? First question. What is the correct way to put an issue into a bag and board? Is it the issue goes on the big flap side, or the issue goes on the small flap side?
Big flap side or the small flap side?
Like, you know how there's like a big flap on the bag and board and then there's another side that has a short one?
I think you have different bags than I do.
There's like a little leaflet kind of thing that like you pull. No?
I actually don't know what you're talking about. My bags they have an opening on one end. I put my bag in, my book and bag in. My book and board in, and I seal it.
There's not like you can seal yours?
The last ones I bought had like an adhesive strip. In the past, I have just bought ones that I just tape closed. But
that's so cool. Do you always tape them closed?
Mm-hmm.
Should I do that? Oh my God, that's why this is here, so I can fold it over and tape it closed. That's
is that what you're confused about?
There's like a longer side.
Yeah, that's a flap to close it.
Oh my God, I've just been having them open.
I mean, like, your comics are all very new. They're not like, you haven't damaged them or anything.
Holy crap! Because I was getting really annoyed about them because my box that I close over them, gets caught on those things all the time. I'm like, what the fuck do I do with them?
Yeah, no, that's a flap to close it.
Okay. So which side do you put it on? Do you put it on the side that has the flap facing towards the flap side or facing towards the not flap side?
The flap folds over the back. I put the flap on the top and the back. I fold it over the top and tape it on the top of the back.
Yeah, but the cover is then facing
the cover is facing the direction that does not have the flap taped on it.
That makes sense because you can see the cover. Like, okay. See, that was my question. Okay, there we go. Much longer than we anticipated. Okay. Then my next one we already covered. Here we go. A question about exiles. Iron Lad, really? Is there an Irish Iron Lass?
This is not so much a question as it is just some sass from you.
Okay, it's sass, but is he Irish? Is he Iron Lad? Like, what the fuck?
No, that's just like an old comics, like kid characters sometimes are lad.
Crazy. Okay, and also, is that kid Reed Richards' son or something, or grandson?
No, let me look up Kang, but I think that's just, oh wait, maybe Kang is related to the Richards though? Let me see.
I feel like that's a pretty specific name to have in this universe.
His name is Nathaniel Richards, and distant relative of his is Reed Richards.
Okay, good to know. Also,
so this is a past version of the future here, not past, but an earlier version of the villain from the future, Kang the Conqueror.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, and then super Crisis on Infinite Earths vibes from Exiles also.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same beginning.
I mean, it's the same kind of, like multiple universe stuff. Like, that tends to be that's the setup.
Okay, so, and also, is the Unseen is a character in this. Also, so these are some minor spoilers, sorry. These are all in the beginning, though. There's nothing, like, crazy. Is this the original Nick Fury, the Unseen?
Yes.
And that's the one they retconned with Sam Jackson's clone?
They didn't retcon him. So did I think
you did explain it. It's his Sam Jackson is this Nick Fury's son, but they just started calling the Sam Jackson one Nick Fury instead of Nick Jr.
They just slowly stopped saying the Junior, and they put original Nick Fury on the moon.
Oh, so like that is literally this. Okay.
Yeah, that's who this is. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. I'm glad.
He's like a watcher like character in that he's like observing but not interfering. But
so would you say like a monitor?
Like the Watchers in DC or in Marvel are very similar to like the Monitors. Like except the Monitors are specific. It's different it's different and not different in that the Monitors are specifically about like monitoring and kind of maintaining the universe, whereas the Watchers theoretically in the Marvel universe are about just observing and collecting knowledge. Okay. But then the thing is, every time the Watchers show up, they interfere, which is like the in-joke. You know, like it's like their motto is non-interference, but pretty much every time a Watcher shows up, unless it's like, and a Watcher happened to be there looking at all of this, it's always like, the Watcher has come to give me a warning, you know? So they're always interfering, like, they're always breaking that rule.
Do you think that's translated to the movies where they showed the Watchers in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Do you think they're going to interfere sometime soon?
The Watchers showed up in Guardians 2. Do you remember that?
That's absolutely, literally what I just said.
Wait, oh god. What did you... I missed the first part of the question then. What was... Repeat the whole question.
I literally just said...
I need to get out of
here. The Watchers showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Does that mean they'll probably interfere soon?
My brain is melting.
Dear Lord.
I would be surprised if we got anything in the near future that was like a bigger appearance from the Watchers.
Okay.
Especially considering how small of like an Easter egg that was. I would like the Watchers to show up, but I will.
There were a whole end credits scene.
They were in an end credits scene, yeah. But it was kind of like wasn't it like a continuation of the little Easter egg in the store in the main movie?
Well, the Easter egg was that Rocket and James Gunn and Michael Rooker were all going through the like hundreds of jumps that they were going through, and they just saw we just had the Watchers. We saw them go in and out. We didn't have anything else. But the end credit scene, Stan Lee, his cameos are seen as a Watcher now.
Well, I think he was with them in that Easter egg bit, but I think it was only in the post credits. I don't remember. I think only the post.
He talks, but they all just leave his side. It might be a joke, but who knows? They might be leaving.
It's the implication, and like all of his cameos are the same character, and he's working for the Watchers.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's great.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
In any case, going on. Sorry. Who's the Dazzler, and why does she make fireworks?
She's an X-Men character who makes fireworks.
Is that really it?
That's what she does.
She just makes explosions and stuff?
Yeah. She's like a very disco themed character, which in recent years they've turned her into like she's a musician, which makes a lot more sense for her character.
Okay, I'll take it. And also with Domino, why is everyone excited about Outlaw being in action? Because I
don't know who Outlaw is. Is that the lady with the hat?
Yeah.
I don't know who that character is.
Right, I saw online that people were really excited about, like, ooh, an Outlaw is back in this iteration of Outlaw or whatever, and...
I guess maybe she hasn't been around in a while. I don't know.
Okay. Doug, you're the veteran. In any case, in Avengers, what happened with Wanda and Pietro in the Ultimates? I saw that online as well. Did they have incest?
They imply that they are incestual in the Ultimates.
Okay. Should I read that series?
You ever read? I didn't know you hadn't read Ultimates.
Why would I have read it?
I don't know, because you've read some random, like, comic stuff before.
Nothing that you specifically, like, told me to read.
You should definitely read the Ultimates. Ultimates is great.
Is it? Fun. Yeah. Like, is that one of the best, one of the coolest, like, things that Marvel has done? Or one of the biggest events?
Ultimates and, The Authority are kind of the beginning of the modern age of comic book storytelling.
Okay.
Those two books are kind of the format that in some ways we've kind of moved away from in recent years, but for like a good 10 years, those books were kind of what everyone was aping. Nothing before them was like that.
Okay.
It's this very cinematic, widescreen, super dramatic style. And it's also, if you're curious about where a lot of the movies take their cues, it's from those books. It's from
Interesting. Was that a whole line? The Ultimate universe, right?
Well, the Ultimate Universe is a line of comics, yeah, starting with Ultimate Spider-Man.
But Ultimates is different?
The Ultimates is basically Ultimate Avengers. They just didn't call it.
Okay. I'll do it at some point, but that concludes my questions.
If you do read it, only read the first two. There's Ultimates and Ultimates 2. There are 2 volumes of both of those. And anything past that, not written by Mark Millar, for the most part, is bad.
Okay.
Jonathan Hickman did a really cool run at the very end. That was very good. But other than that, cool. That's going to do it for this week. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. The absolute biggest thing you can do for us as a podcast, if you like the show, is give us a review or a star rating on iTunes. If you like the show, let someone know about us.
What was that?
Jack's trying to mess with me by putting in the phrase, and if you enjoy penis, into my script. If you enjoy penis, let someone know about us.
Yeah!
If you enjoy the show, let someone know about us in person or on social media. We release episodes weekly on Sundays. So be sure to check back in next week, or better yet, subscribe to this podcast if you never have to think about it. You can do that on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Google Play Music, or whatever podcast app you prefer. We got you covered.
In the meantime.
We got you covered. Wait, just one sec. Real quick. I said last week that I was appearing on the Mashing Buttons podcast episode that came out this past Monday. I was incorrect.
Yes, you were.
Because we actually recorded that episode this coming Monday's episode very early, and I was mistaken because they already had an episode recorded that was releasing that Monday. So my episode is airing as of when this episode is going up. It'll be tomorrow, but it is Monday, April 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out. Again, that show is great. It's a video game podcast where they take a shot every 15 minutes and also drink in addition to that.
What did you drink, Doug?
So if you want to hear... we drank, I think it was lime-flavored vodka and lemonade.
Okay.
And then we took shots at the vodka.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. you want to hear me get a little sloppy and talk about comic book video games with some fun games, people.
I'm pumped. Okay, but in the meantime, before the next episode, that's Wednesday, not on Monday, but whatever. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @ComicsCovered. You can also find web archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com, our YouTube channel, or on Facebook. And if you want to
Wait, what are you talking about? Those episodes come out on Mondays.
What?
What's Wednesday?
What did I say Wednesday? Where?
You said that's Wednesday, not Monday.
No, I said that. I said in the meantime before the next episode, not the one on Monday, but the one next Sunday.
Oh.
Okay. Jesus. A little bit of word salad going on in your head, Doug?
Word salad.
Do you remember?
Jesus Christ.
There's a guy on our Twitter that didn't like Doug's interpretation of what Alan Moore would want in Doomsday Clock.
I wasn't even talking about what Alan Moore would want.
You really weren't.
I was voicing like my conflicting thoughts on this Doomsday Clock series. Some dude came at me about it, and I was just like, all right, dude. Like, I don't even know. I don't want to give it the time of day.
He came at you and he came on you, too.
Oh, God.
Just like Bendis did all over. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, send us a message or on Facebook or Twitter. We still like, this guy. He gave us feedback. Not constructive feedback, but whatever. Or
this is the feedback I stopped allowing you to ask people
for hate mail. Tell us why we suck.
God damn.
In any case, do it at our email, comicscovered@gmail.com. Thank you again for you being you and taking a trip to our neighborhood. I'm Mr. Rogers.
Okay, and I'm one of the puppets, I guess.
Yeah, so. Mr. McFeely, probably, because you're a disgusting person.
What?
And this has been
Comics Covered.
Cheerio.